All right, I think we're live on Facebook. Good evening, everybody. Let me close this window so we don't get any feedback. Get the mic whistling, all that kind of stuff. All right, let me let these other folks in. So we got Kevin Stryker with us, got Joey Nuggs coming on tonight. Big announcements. Joey Nuggs is on the way. Madison, our number one fans, Madison Gibson, is going to join us tonight. Looks like she's coming on. Joey's coming on now. Kevin Stryker, good to see you. Happy Veterans Day, everybody.
Good to see you too, Matt Carter, and thank you.
All right, and Joey Nuggs has joined us as well. Now, for those of you who were not at the show Fright Night, Joey Nuggs has made his return to AIWF Mid-Atlantic Wrestling. Joey, you looking very dapper tonight, sir. And I know you are serious business. How long ago has it been since you were in the Mid-Atlantic? I believe you need to unmute yourself, sir.
Yes, can you hear me? Mic check 1, 2.
Yes, sir. Loud and clear, sir.
We're looking at 16 years since I came back to the Mid-Atlantic area. Now, when I came here originally, it wasn't known as AIWF Mid-Atlantic. It was just AIWF.
Yep, that's right. That's been a long time ago. And, you know, I know that if you've shown up here, Joey, and we're going to get into the announcements in a minute, but I know you're here for two things, money and titles. And it looked like to me, we got our hands on some exclusive footage last week. We were able to show you slipping Jamal the Titan a business card before his match. I know that you're probably limited on what you are comfortable telling us about who you're recruiting and whatever, but please just share with us whatever you can.
Well, let me put it this way. I had an epiphany. A dream came to me one night, and I said to myself, you've got unfinished business with AIWF. It's been years. You got your start in AIWF. You sat in the locker room and for hours, you sat with Sir Oliver Humperdinck and Playboy Gary Hart before an event. They shared knowledge upon knowledge about the wrestling business. My first year in a business, I was years ahead of any other manager in the AIWF, if not the world at that point. And at that point, Oliver pulled me aside and said, hey, man, just so you know, Gary really likes you. I said, what are you talking about? He said, Gary Hart gets paid $1,200 an hour to handle wrestling seminars and give you the knowledge that he just handed you for free. He goes, so I'm letting you know, we consider you one of the last of the managers cut from the old cloth. So for years now, I've not been able to stop the world of wrestling as a manager because I got this hanging over my head.
Wow, that is an incredible endorsement. And I remember when Sir Oliver Humperdinck was coming around. It's funny that you mentioned that. He actually came out one night when I was all by myself at the commentary table in Elkin and did color commentary with me. And I would love to be able to dig that up somewhere in the AIWF archives. That was one of my favorite nights. And to get an endorsement like that from Gary Hart and Sir Oliver just absolutely incredible. Kevin Stryker, you're nodding your head. You want to add something here?
Yeah, I mean, I remember that night, and I remember it very well. And those are two legendary managers in the sport of wrestling. And for somebody like Zoe Snuggs down there or whatever can get an endorsement off of that, then my hat's off to him.
Wow, okay, already with the name calling. So maybe it's a good time to jump into the announcements before it gets too hostile.
Hey, before we get started, I want to wish all the veterans out there in the world happy Veterans Day. Thank you for all your services and things you've done for our country. God bless America. I know you people don't like me out there, but I respect my country. God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
Yep, and I will say this, you know, when we try to steer clear of politics on here, but Kevin Stryker knows my feelings about the way this country treats its veterans sometimes. Yep. And it goes all the way back before this country was a country, because I'm going to tell you what, a lot of people that fought in the colonial army against the British during the Revolutionary War were doing so because they had been mistreated by the British and had given limbs during the French and Indian War and had been mistreated. And this country has a long history of mistreating its veterans. So,
yes, it really does.
And so,
my father was in Vietnam. He came back. He told me stories years. I was a grown man when he told me these stories. He came back after defending his country, and they called him a baby killer, and they spit on his feet. I mean, and I have a brother that was in Desert Storm, that fought in Desert Storm, and they came back and they did not get a hero's welcome by any means. Their country that they fought for turned their back on them. And it's a horrible thing, but yeah, like you say, I could go on and I could be on my soapbox for days and talk down against our country. But today is not that day. Like you say, today is the day of respect for our veterans that gave so much for us all. So, I mean, that's about as all I got to say about the veterans today. And I don't want to talk about our country today because we're talking about pro wrestling.
That's right. And I appreciate you saying that, Joey. We will we hope to, because our next big show is coming up next Saturday night. We're going to honor our veterans there, and we'll get to that in the announcements. And so for all you vets that come out to that show, I'm going to embarrass you a little bit. I'm going to ask you to stand up so we can all give you a big round of applause. So I hope you don't mind. Just be prepared for you vets that show up next Saturday night. We're going to have a nice special treat for you there. So anyway, let's get into the announcements. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, see if we can get this old slideshow started. Not too many technical difficulties, but if you're a longtime fan of the AIWF, you know that we do technical difficulties better than anybody. And right away, we'll start off. I don't think this picture was taken this morning, but this is a Veterans Day picture of all the members of the armed services marching in Washington. I think, Kevin Stryker, they normally have a Veterans Day parade in Washington, don't they?
That they do. They have Veterans Day parades all over the place, but Washington is the most pronounced Veterans Day parade that you will see, because it's basically going right down the street of the Capitol. It goes down through, I'm wanting to say, the Smithsonian, Lincoln Memorial, all the big time places and sites that you would see by visiting DC, and it also goes down by Arlington Cemetery as well.
Wow, that's a long way, because for those of you who've been to Washington before, if you start on Capitol Hill and go all the way down the length of the mall, so I would guess that would be Pennsylvania Avenue, Kevin.
Yes.
And so if you go all the way down there to the Lincoln Memorial, that's a good hump just by itself. But then you're talking about going over to the Arlington Cemetery. And, when I was there a few years ago, I didn't make it that far. I was having foot problems and couldn't walk that far. So can you tell us about how far, if I go down to the Lincoln Memorial, how much farther do I have to go to get over to the Arlington Cemetery at that point?
From the Lincoln Memorial, I'm wanting to say you're probably roughly, if you take the most direct path as the crow flies, so to speak, you're probably looking at anywhere between 5 to 10 miles.
Man, that's a long parade right there.
Yeah.
Man. All right, Bobby Dalton, play-by-play man for the AIWF Mid-Atlantic, has joined us as well, and we do again want to say Happy Veterans Day to all that have served. And there's a good look at our Shockwave Wrestling friends down in New Bern, their logo. I do not have any show or match announcements that I've been able to find for them, so I don't have anything on the bill. But here we go. Let's get into the announcements. Our friends over at Tennessee All Pro Wrestling, longtime affiliate of the AIWF, present Thanksgiving Throwdown. That's Saturday night, November 20th at the Victory Center in Morrison, Tennessee. That's 5542 Manchester Highway, right where they always are. Doors open at 6:30, bell times at 7:30. And look at this. What a great value, folks. Adults, $8. Children, 6 to 12, get in for $6. And kids 5 and under are free. That's coming up for Tennessee All Pro Wrestling Thanksgiving Throwdown next Saturday night, November 20th. 2021, and they are sponsored by the One Call Auction Company and One Call Delivery Service. Also, NLPW presents 1-year anniversary. Tickets are $15. This comes up on November 28th. Doors at 5 p.m. That's a 21 and over show, folks. And I don't know what that entails. I have not been able to find any details on that, but might want to leave the kiddos with grandma for this one. It's 106 Southside Streets in Toloma, Tennessee, as our Tennessee people have helped me figure out that pronunciation over the last few months. But that's Toloma, Tennessee. It's, I believe, a Saturday night, November 28th, or that may be Sunday. I need to
That's
check.
a Sunday.
Thank you for having your calendar handy. All right. So
I ain't got a calendar handy. I'm just going off of November the 20th being a Saturday. Then 8 days later, the 28th, that will be a Sunday.
yeah, math has never really been my strong suit.
He's lying to you. He's got his shoes off and he's using his feet to count with his big toes.
I do leave your shoes out there and not around us.
And Bobby would sure do. So Bobby's from way up in the mountains, so he knows about barefoot. So SWF presents live pro wrestling. This is Friday, November 12th. That's tomorrow night. This is at the Gypsy Joe Arena, 106 Southside Drive in Toloma, Tennessee. All tickets are $10. Kids 5 and under are free. Doors open at 6 and bell time is at 8:05. Love that throwback to old school TBS. You can see some of the stars that are going to be there. Drip.
I want to know how Gypsy Joe got his own arena. I am quite impressed.
Yeah.
Got beat up by New Jack, gets his own arena. That was a good trade-off, I guess.
Well, yeah, but didn't New Jack stick a screwdriver in his neck or something?
Oh my God, that was sickening. Beat him up with everything in that building and got chased out of the building with it.
Yeah, no kidding.
He was hardcore, though.
Yes, he was. New Jack threw a bloody T-shirt on me at an ECW show one time. I never forgave him for that.
Wow.
Most of the fans at ringside were jumping up. They wanted it, but I guess the look on my face when I looked up at him told him that I didn't want that thing and please don't throw it at me. And guess what he did? He threw it right out over top of my head and it opened up like a big parachute and it floated down in slow motion. And I ducked and the biggest fight for a T-shirt broke out on top of my back that night. If I hadn't been 23 and a lot less fat than I am now, that probably would have killed me. So, but yeah, wild night.
Well, see, now that's where, like a lot of people like to say, smart marks. That's where you made yourself a dumb mark.
A T-shirt could have paid your rent for a couple of years, probably. Good Lord.
Yeah, no, I don't care. You know, I mean, not that I don't like money, you know, don't get me wrong, but somebody else's bloody shirt is just not my idea of a good time or something that I want to associate anything with. I mean, I love wrestling memorabilia too. You know, Rick Diesel will tell you that. I'm always after him to get my hands on some of our old memorabilia, but nah, bloody shirts, no thank you. But anyway, so you can see here the card. I started to laugh because Drip God versus LBK kind of cracked me up. You see King Jimmy. I wonder if that's the same King Jimmy from that movie with David Arquette from years ago against Eli. Hoodrich and Poncho versus the Lost Souls. Frost versus Poe. Wrestler versus referee. Crow versus Heavy D. That's interesting. I hadn't seen a wrestler versus referee match. Well, never in person, but I think I dug them up in like old Tennessee wrestling. I think Ron Wright had a couple of matches with referees in the 70s, but and Zach versus Onyx. Of course, that's coming your way from the Gypsy Joe Arena tomorrow night in Toluma. All tickets $10. Also, here's some good artwork from our friends at OKC Empire Pro Wrestling. Saturday, November 13th, that is this Saturday night, their 1-year anniversary show. Congratulations for starting up a new indie and being able to last a year. You know, we always brag that we've been around since 1992, but with all the competition and the way things have changed with advertising and everything, kudos to you guys. And wrestling is such a niche audience these days. Congratulations to our friends at Empire Pro Wrestling for being able to make it a year, and we hope you have many more. All right. This show goes down this Saturday night. Tickets are just $10. Great value as always from our friends there at Empire. Empire Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Championship match is on the line as Kevin Sanchez takes on Father Page for that title. The night everything changed, they say, so they're guaranteeing some wild things. Also, the EPW All-American title will be on the line as Stryker takes on Warren Powers. Also on the event that night, EPW Tag Team title match in a three-way dance here. Rebel Heart, Saints of Pro Wrestling take on the Psychotic Messengers in what is certainly going to be a wild, wild match. Very dangerous, ex-con looking bunch of people in this match.
I think those guys in the middle need a good manager.
They might. They very well may. OKC, it continues with Drake Gallows taking on Dominic Whiteheart. Again, tickets just $10 for this show. It goes down this Saturday night, 4605 South Pennsylvania Avenue in OKC. And let's see what else we got. Ryan the Ripper, the EPW ITV title match. Ryan the Ripper takes on Adrian Vega, and that goes down at Empire Pro Wrestling's The Night Everything Changed this Saturday night in OKC. And the ladies will be in action as Stormy Renee takes on Erica, and they take on Morgan LeVay and what it looks like another three-way match. All that goes down again this Saturday night in OKC, Empire Pro Wrestling, their 1 year anniversary show. All tickets just $10. Now to the meat of the matter, because we discuss our home base. Smiling Diamond Dave has joined us. Yeah, of course, we said we got Bobby Dalton, Kevin Stryker, legendary manager Joey Nuggs has joined us, and we will get into some analysis and chit chat as we go. We've had 3 match announcements. And this is the first one. Dirty Joe, who is all over the place in the Carolinas, takes on David Parrish. And am I correct in saying that we saw David Parrish back at the fair shows? Is that correct, Dave? Kevin, do you remember?
Yes.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, his face looked mighty familiar, but we're going to see him take on Dirty Joe. Of course, this goes down next Saturday night. The show is called Honor Our Heroes. It was originally slated for this Saturday night, but scheduling conflict, we had to move the show, but we're still going to celebrate Veterans Day just a week late. This show is sponsored by King's Hot Dogs. As always, tickets $8 for ringside, $6 for general admission. Doors open at 6:30. Bell time is at 7:30 or 7:35 or 7:42. You know how things around the Mid-Atlantic go. All right. Now, here's a big one that's been announced. Yes, indeed. This is the one I've been looking forward to for a while, and it's generated a lot of excitement since the announcement of its signing. We have created, the AIWF Mid-Atlantic is going to crown its first women's champion. And we're going to see Ella Envy, formerly of Greensboro. Now she hails from Los Angeles. Take on Taylorsville's Casey Fox. One-on-one, Casey Fox, of course, is the current PGWA women's champion. We saw her win that at Darlings of the Ring in Mount Airy, but she is going to go for more gold. And this is interesting. This is another women's title that a lot of, I think the girls are going to be interested in pursuing. And Tracy Taylor, I'm talking to you. Pay attention. There's some new gold out here. Guys, what do you think? Ella and Casey one-on-one. This is kind of something I've been looking forward to for a while. We've seen them in the ring before, and there's a genuine dislike between these two ladies.
Well, man,
Yeah.
I think that
You got that right.
Ella Envy, she's going into this match with the grudge. She got hoodooed out of the PWGA. Is that what you call it? Title?
PGWA, close. I know it's a mouthful. Yeah.
And I believe she's going into this match, the 20th, with the grudge, and she's going to win this AIWF Women's Championship. I believe she's going to be hard to beat.
I think you're right. Bobby Dalton, what do you think?
Well, I've only seen them once before in the past, but I'll tell you what, Dave's right. Ella Envy right now, she's got that momentum. You know, she's got that chip on her shoulder, and she's got a grudge. My biggest problem about next Saturday night is I wonder if I'm going to be able to keep Mr. Nuggs here away from them ladies long enough to be able to call the match without him trying to get up there and woo them away from it.
Look, I'm already going to put it out here. I've been getting DMs all day from Casey Fox. She says if she wins the title, she wants to go out in the town. I'm not paying for any date with Casey Fox, for the record. She's paying.
Okay,
But
Kevin.
if I was a betting man, I would put my money on Ella Envy myself, all jokes aside. I think she's going to come in there and she's going to make short work with Casey Fox. She's going to walk out of there champion, and I'm going to talk to her about being her manager.
Okay, Kevin Stryker, what do you think?
Well, as far as this match goes, I've seen this match twice before, and it has only gotten better every time I've seen it. Ella Envy, she comes in with a grudge. Yes, she's going to have that small chip on her shoulder, and she's got that point to prove against Casey Fox. But if anybody's coming in with the momentum and a bigger chip on her shoulder, is going to be Casey Fox, considering the fact that she just won the PGWA title back in September. But like I said, she's got to put that in the back of her mind. She may have that title. This is a different title and a different scenario. So Ella Envy, I don't think she's going to make short work of Casey Fox, because I know how they've been. But at the same time, Casey Fox needs to have a head on a swivel, because Casey Fox or Ella Envy will be coming with a vengeance.
And one thing I learned about Casey Fox at the Darlings of the Ring show is she is a submission specialist. I had not seen that part of her game before. You know, I guess she was playing that hand close to her chest, because that's how she won the PGWA title, was with a submission hold. Here's my thing. Ella Envy, I think you guys are all right in saying that she's got a chip on her shoulder and she's got something to prove. The only issue I see in Ella Envy's game in this match is that she has it's something about her personality. When things don't go her way, she gets frustrated easily and takes her mind off the target. You know what I mean?
Right.
She gets distracted easily. She gets upset. She starts arguing with the referee, calling the referee names, which is never a good thing. I mean, kids, if you play sports, don't ever alienate the referee, because then you ain't never going to get the whistle. So, you know, that's the issue I see with her game. Casey Fox has got a lot going on. She is, you know, the brand new PGWA champion. She's also rubbed some elbows with some big stars over the last few months. If those of you don't know, if you're a fan of the HBO series, The Righteous Gemstones, Casey Fox is going to be appearing in that show this year. We don't know how many episodes, but she was, unless they all hit the cutting room floor, but she spent a lot of time down there filming for that show. So hopefully some of what she did makes it through. We'll find out in January, as that show just announced today that they'll be coming back in January. So she's actually rubbed elbows with Danny McBride. She's got a lot going on right now, and I have to feel like that the last thing she would want before this big TV appearance coming up early next year is to get beat. And, you know, we're going for this inaugural championship match and have us on here. I mean, you know, not that our audience is anything close to Righteous Gemstones. Let's be real about that. But, you know, we're going to be talking about it, and it's going to be all over the internet wrestling community, you know, whoever comes out on top of this match. So I think both these ladies are definitely in the pressure cooker come next Saturday night.
Exactly.
Most definitely.
Yep.
Well, I think Ella Envy, Matt, she's going to, when she gets frustrated, she's going to turn her frustration into anger. And I think she's got one up on Casey Fox, because Casey's going in, she's got this movie deal or whatever it is on her mind. She's not going to be fully focused. And I just believe Ella Envy is going to take advantage of that weakness and walk out champion.
We will definitely see. It could certainly go either way. That's for sure. That's for sure. All right. And another match just announced today. Check it out. Wow. 4-on-4 Survivor Series type style. Well, we'll call it an elimination tag, just to, you know, so we don't get a cease and desist order for copyright deal. But you can see Caden Pierre, Marvelous Mason Matthews, Jamal the Titan, and Daniel Halen on one side. against Mickey Fulp, James Anthony, Benny Conley, and is that one Jason Kincaid that I see on that poster?
I believe it is, sir.
And I have not seen Jason Kincaid in AIWF Mid-Atlantic since I went into the Hall of Fame, and God, that was a long time ago. It was 7 or 8 years ago. So definitely Benny Conley and Mickey Fulp breaking out the big guns to hopefully settle some scores in this 4-on-4 elimination tag team match. Gentlemen, let's give it some major analysis. What in the world is going to happen? This match could go all night. I hope it goes on last because you got 8 top tier guys in this match, and it's not going to be able to get a fall easily on any of them.
Well, you might as well say 7 top tier guys because Daniel Halen has failed to show up the last 2 or 3 shows. So,
right. Yeah, that's honestly the truth, guys. But he left a message on the Facebook stream last week saying the bad men will show up when they get ready, which is not a good strategy to have because you show up when you get ready, you probably not going to get booked too much. But go ahead, Bobby. Smiling over there.
Yeah. I saw Instagram today, and Jamal the Titan has already made his claim. He's going to eliminate the other team by himself.
Really?
So he could be the factor in this whole thing. He is the biggest, and right now he has. He's been on a mean streak lately. But everything is going on. He wants that TV title back. He hasn't been himself lately. It's like he's on the different level of meanness. And if he goes in there like the monster that he can be, he's liable to just take all 4 of them out. And Caden Pierre could stand in the corner and try to look pretty and not do nothing. And Matthews, well, that's a different story.
Right. Yeah, definitely a battle of the big ones. Who's next? Go ahead.
I don't believe that. I got to disagree with Bobby to a point. Jamal, yeah, he can take them all out by himself. Daniel Halen can take them out by himself. But as far as Caden Pierre standing in the corner looking pretty and having an easy night, not doing nothing, Bobby, I don't know where you've been, what you've been doing, what you've been focused on behind that microphone when you're supposed to be watching and commentating on the match. But obviously you need to clean your glasses. You haven't watched Caden Pierre. He doesn't stand in the corner for nobody. He is one of the top tier talents in AIWF. I've stated that once, I've stated it twice, and I'll state it again. Caden Pierre is just as mean, or can be just as mean and as rough as the 3 guys he's going to be in the ring tagging with. So, Mickey Fulp, Jason Kincaid, Benny Conley, James Anthony. It ain't going to be an easy night. It's going to be a barn burner. And I think that Mickey Fulp and Benny Conley and them are going in thinking this is going to be easy street. I don't see it happening, Matt.
No, I don't think it's going to be easy, and I agree with your comments about Caden Pierre. He is a double tough individual. Don't let all that prancing and being super fabulous fool you. The guy's a wrecking machine in that ring, no doubt about it.
Oh yeah, Matt. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that he's not. I'm just saying with Jamal, with his whatever, the other 3 partners may not have to do as much if he goes in there and be the brute that he is. But I will agree with Dave one thing. Caden, he is a top talent and he is dangerous. I'm not saying that. But he could be the X factor in this thing. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm just going by what, Jamal said he was going to take them out, but he don't have to do it all by himself. So, it's going to be even, but I kind of give the edge to Jamal and his team right now.
Well, speaking of Jamal, and our special guest tonight, Joey Nuggs, has come on here. And Joey, of course, you're welcome to join us any Thursday night that you want to. This panel is always open. But
honestly, in my opinion about that, before you go on, I think you did pick the right team. You're talking about this man standing on the outside. That man wearing pink. Don't let that for a minute throw you off. That is a way to play psychological warfare with your opponent. Make him get out of his freaking character and not be able to concentrate on the match. That might be the decision factor right by itself that decides that entire match.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. I think
he's got that big man next to him. That guy by himself could move the ring by himself.
Oh, yeah,
I've seen him. He's good. That guy's talent.
Yeah, Mason Matthews is a dangerous competitor as well. And you're right. I mean, we've seen that psychological warfare work for many a guy over the years. And I think that has played a huge part in Caden's success since he came to the Mid-Atlantic, is the psychological warfare. But one thing I will say about Jamal the Titan, I think he's got, and Joey Nuggs, I thought it was interesting that you slipped him a business card, because we've seen him come up short against Benny Conley twice in a row. And I think that if Jamal has any crack in the armor, it could be overconfidence. Now, he has every reason to be confident. But, I think going in there and like what Bobby's saying, he posted on Instagram today saying he's going to eliminate all 4 people. Maybe he's coming into the ring too overconfident. I don't know. Joey, you're a manager. You've dealt with these super egos much closer than I have over the years. Is that something that you see sometimes in wrestlers?
Oh, yeah. The ego sometimes is harder to control than anything about anything. When it comes to a wrestler, because they have their personalities bigger than the building by itself. So sometimes it's hard to keep them under control so they can stay focused and concentrate exactly for the matter at hand. The matter at hand is those guys need to go out there, stay focused, and beat those other 4 wrestlers. That's not going to be an easy match by any means. This, I ask, in my opinion, should be a main event match in any building, period.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
I'm looking forward to this match, actually.
Matt, can I make a comment on what you said about Jamar, coming up short on 2 different occasions with Benny Conley?
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with you, he has. But the old saying is the 3rd time's a charm. That may be the reason for the tweet. That may be the reason for the words that he has spoken. And, I got to agree with Joey that this right here is a main event on any venue, on any Saturday night. Do I like these other 4 guys? No, sir. Everybody knows how I feel about the hillbilly drunk Mickey Polk. and everybody knows that I indefinitely suspended from all AIWF affiliates and AIWF Mid-Atlantic, James Anthony. Haven't had that many dealings with Kincaid, Benny Conley. He just ain't got the nerve up to stick his nose into other people's business yet, like Mickey Polk and James Anthony. Yes, I was the one to reinstate James Anthony because he is a top-tier, sought-after talent. Pound for pound, inch for inch. He's tough. He's a good competitor. But I think James Anthony knows if he crosses that line with me again, I will show him the door again. So I just look for big things in this match. And I might even pull me a chair up to watch it because it's going to be a barn burn.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
Are
absolutely.
you welcome? Are you welcome to come on out with us, Dave?
I'm gonna send Caden to you, Bobby. Tell him what you said about him. I'm gonna send Caden to you
Right.
on the 20th.
Yeah, I think he
Oh
needs. In fact, I think he needs to see what you said about him tonight. We're gonna send him a copy of this as soon as it airs.
yeah, we're streaming live on Facebook, so I don't know if Caden's watching, but yeah, Bobby, you might have some questions to answer come next Saturday night. But all right, Joey Nuggs, you left the AIWF long time ago because we were talking earlier about Sir Oliver Humperdinck, Gary Hart times. What have you been up to in these, what, it's been 15, 16 years. What have you been up to? Have you stayed active in wrestling, or you're on sabbatical? Talk to us about what's been going on with Joey Nuggs since we saw you last.
You can look up there. You're in the dark. I've got a lot of Manager of the Year trophies throughout the room. So yeah, I've traveled throughout the Mid-Atlantic. I did a lot of work with South Carolina, but with that athletic commission, I don't think I want to deal with them anymore. They're a real pain in the keister. So, like I said, I think that North Carolina is my calling now. I'm going back to where I started from. I think if I'm going to do anything towards the end of, I'm not saying I'm at the end of my career. I've just turned 53 years old. I'm getting too old to be taking these bumps for many more years. But I figure if I'm going to go out, I'm going to go out in a bang. I'm going to do it right here in the Mid-Atlantic.
Well, that's awesome. It's good to have you. It's good to have you back. And I know our fans are sitting there shaking their heads. Why are you nice to these jerk managers, Matt? Because I know what they bring to the table, and I know that they can bring the best out of other wrestlers. We've had Michael King on this program before, who's chomping at the bit to come into the Mid-Atlantic area. You've come into the Mid-Atlantic area. I know we saw you recruiting Jamal, and I'll ask again, but I know you can't give away your long range scheme or whatever you got in mind. But are there any other competitors in the Mid-Atlantic that you've observed so far that you think that you could lend your managerial services to and be mutually profitable for both of you?
Oh yeah, I see a lot of definitely talent in the Mid-Atlantic area. That's one of the reasons I came back to the Mid-Atlantic area. There's money on the table waiting to be had. And a lot of these wrestlers, if they just had someone like myself in their corner to fine tune them, make sure that every opportunity is actually taken advantage of to the fullest extent, a lot of these wrestlers could have a big career outside of the AIWF, maybe on a larger scale as well. But I mean, definitely, this is any place. If you're going to be any place in the world of wrestling right now, Mid-Atlantic is the place to be. There's a lot of talent getting looked at from some of the big leagues as well, not just talking outside of AIWF. I'm looking forward to traveling to different places within the AIWF. I know there's so many countries that we're in now, and so many companies now underneath the banner of AIWF. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, you're right. It is amazing. I couldn't have said it better myself. When we started up this affiliate program, I remember telling Rick Diesel, I was like, I don't know if this is going to work out or not. And here we are, 15 years later, and it just has exploded. And, we've got Damian Wayne as our world champion, who's traveling all over the place. The creation of the Mid-Atlantic Women's Championship was something, if you'd have told me 5 years ago, I would have called you crazy. I would have said, no, it'll never happen. But here we are coming up on the 20th, and it's going to happen. And I think that's just a big deal. And we saw a lot of talented women on the Darlings of the Ring show. I heard nobody really on the active roster today, but some of the older guys talking smack about some of the girls on that show. And it just kind of made it a point to me. I was like, oh, they talking trash because they jealous. These girls are really good, So with the creation of this title, I think it's going to attract even, probably some of the same girls that we saw on that show, women, not to be politically incorrect, women that we saw on that show. Hey, if they're after titles, now they got another one to come after right here in the Mid-Atlantic. And you're right, Joey Nuggs, things are heating up around here.
Oh yeah, let's be honest. Women and midgets were always brought in as oddities to boost attendance for any card. But the way professional wrestling is now for women, I mean, it's beyond. They're not just an oddity. They're a legit commodity now in professional wrestling, and they sell out buildings across the country. I'm looking forward to seeing this lady's title actually happen right here in the Mid-Atlantic. I think it's going to be awesome to see women's wrestling come here on a regular basis.
Yeah, I am too. I'm really excited about this. And of course, we always say Casey Fox is the most famous person from Taylorsville other than handsome Harry Gant of NASCAR fame many years ago. But is I want to talk to you, Joy, since I've got you here, pick your brain a little bit about when I think of a wrestling manager and I think a lot of the fans think about it like this, because on your big time TV national promotions now, on your WWEs, on your AEWs, AEW has it more than WWE, because you see like Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard are managers there. That guy that I think his name is Don Callis, used to be Cyrus the Virus in ECW back in the day, but he disappeared. I don't know what happened to Don, but you see managers in AEW, but you don't really, on a national basis, what people consume on television wrestling, don't see managers that much anymore. What type of service does a manager provide a wrestler, on a daily, weekly basis that, makes their job easier? Like, if I'm a wrestler, if I'm a championship athlete like Jamal the Titan, why would I hire you and give you a percentage of my pay? What are you going to do for me to make my life easier?
Well, first off, as a good quality manager handles all your day-to-day business. All you have to do is show up to the arena, lace up your boots, and be the athlete that you're being paid to be. I handle all your accommodations, your hotel accommodations. I make sure that when you show up to Charlotte, North Carolina, you're flying from another state, being picked up, that your car is waiting for you already at the airport. Last thing at 3 o'clock in the morning you want to do is argue with some dingbat woman at Avis. I make sure that every one of their accommodations taken care of. I make sure that their day-to-day activities are taken care of. I keep them on a strict schedule. Not only dieting, they've got to be in the gym, physical. You're talking about the mental, not just the mental aspect. You got to be in the gym physically. You got to be a tip-top shape, because you're talking about wrestlers that are wrestling for hour time limits. Man, that's a cardiovascular level. It's taken to another level. So myself, I'm getting on the treadmill myself and trying to keep myself active so I keep up with these wrestlers. Because they have to be able to look at me and say, how can you tell us to get in the gym when you're not available to get in the gym? So it's hard to be. I look at these wrestlers as what they are. They're finely tuned athletic machines. They're not just a dollar sign. They're athletes. They're entertainers, true. But you're talking about professional wrestling. You're talking about the highest level of professionalism of any athletes. They call it king of sports for a reason. Wrestling is just that. It is the king of sports. So, and I'm not just a court gesture. I stand next to my wrestler. I make my wrestlers' job so all they have to do is walk out there and concentrate on being the best wrestler they can be. Man, they don't have to worry about the fans coming up to and trying to grab them while they're walking to ringside. That's my job. I push the fans away. Get away from them. He's here to concentrate on winning a title. Your entire focus as a manager needs to be to handle all your day-to-day activities, everything for your wrestler. When he gets up in the morning, he needs to know that this is a job. That's a problem with everybody in the world of professional wrestling these days. They think that they become a wrestler when they show up on a Saturday night and walk in the back door. No. This is a 24-hour-a-day job to work at professional wrestling. I don't wake up in the morning and I'm Joey Nugs. I don't go to bed and just be Joey Nugs. I'm Joey Nugs the entire day. That's what people need to worry about. So when people ask me, hey, will you go on this telecast? Will you go on the AIWF Mid-Atlantic for this Zoom call? Yeah, sure I will, because they're giving me an opportunity to get in front of a huge group of people and talk on a regular basis. These small things become huge when people really realize what we're doing here. This is a great thing that we're doing here. The AIWF Mid-Atlantic has been and always will be the flagship. I like to call it the mothership of the AIWF. I'm looking forward to seeing where things go in the near future. Any other questions?
Wow. Okay. I think you said it all. I couldn't have asked for a better answer. Thank you so much. And yes, the AIWF Mid-Atlantic is the flagship of the AIWF. Always has been.
Time to wake
always
up from
will
my
be.
nap yet?
I noticed you looked like you were getting a little sleepy.
I know, Kevin, you need to work on this. This is Veterans Day. You ought to be excited just by that by itself. Jeez.
I done got my belly full. I had 3 free meals today, and I got my belly full, and I got to come in here expecting a show on the Zoom call, and all I've heard is your mouth all night long, and it's just been putting me to sleep.
Well, for those of you who don't know, there is no love lost between Kevin Stryker and Joey Nuggs. I think you guys have butted heads.
Yeah, he's mad because I wouldn't manage him back in the day, and he'll never get over it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, well,
Man,
I got over it. Why can't you get over it, Kevin? Come on, man. Get over
he
it.
passed over a top tier athlete back in the day for a subpar that couldn't get him nowhere. That's the reason why he left the AIWF, because he was ashamed that he passed on me that went on good and higher places, and he took subpar talent. And
It's your story, brother. You tell it the way you want to tell it. I know different.
So he just tucked tail and run just like anybody else does, and felt ashamed, so he had to disappear for a little while.
Well, 15 years is more than a little while.
Matt, can I say something?
Absolutely. Jump in. That's what we're here for.
You know, me, as the legend I am, as the Hall of Famer I am, of the legendary one half of the original Tennessee Violence Authority, and now the active and only commissioner of the AIWF Mid-Atlantic.
Yeah.
I want to welcome Joey to our organization. I absolutely love what he brings to the table for these guys. And I admire him for looking over that bald-headed geek that's laying there with his face stuffed and his belly stuffed, and wants to say that he's a top-tier talent, and the only thing he's ever been top tier of is his own toilet. He ain't never been top-tier talent in the AIWF. He never could compete with the top-tier talent in the AIWF. When I get through talking, Kevin Stryker, I'll let you know, but until then, keep your mouth shut. Because I'm talking.
When you're man enough to make me keep my mouth shut, you come shut it for me. I think I'm man
enough to do it, and you know that. I've done it in the past.
You talk to your boy
I've got more
Ty
important things to worry about now, still little peons like you. Yeah. You know, so I just wanted to make it clear to welcome Joey to the AIWF publicly, and to say I absolutely admire him and I love what he's bringing to the table.
You talk to your boy Ty Tyson and find out exactly what kind of a tier talent I am.
There's going to be nothing but trash come out of your mouth no way, because you can't handle the heat. So go ahead and spit your words out there, Stumpy.
Yeah, you just go ahead and ask your boy Ty Tyson exactly what kind of a top tier talent I am in was in the AIWF.
I think Ty Tyson was the one that retired you, wasn't he, Kevin Stryker?
He wrestles 4 or 5 times a year. He still wrestles 4 or 5 times a year. It didn't take.
Didn't Ty Tyson put you on the shelf, Kevin Stryker? Just answer yes or no. Don't beat around the bush.
He got lucky. It was his only match he ever won against me.
No, that was talent. Something you ain't got, something you never had, something you will never have.
Well, when you feel froggy to step up to the plate, you just jump, buddy.
Wow, the story comes out finally. It's a library.
I'll show you what all kind of talent I got.
You can't get out of it. You can't come around. You see me every Saturday night at the shows. I'm not a hard person to find.
I know, and you're always the first one. Hey, Kevin Stryker, how you doing? And you're shaking real hard, trying to shake my hand because you're so damn scared.
You know why I'm shaking so hard, trying to shake your hand? because I'm
you're
afraid
scared.
of what I might catch if I touch it. That's
He
why
said, you don't
you're
want to
scared.
keep the
You're
heebie-jeebies.
scared of Striker because you know what Striker will do to you.
Oh,
You're just
mercy.
as old and decrepit as I am. I'll
Hey,
break
I
your
might
other
be
damn hip.
old, and I might be decrepit. I admit it. But I can still walk straight.
Well,
I can still hang with the best of them.
well,
Good.
yeah, Booker man out there, you know who you are, Dusty. I think you might have a potential for another match here.
But Joey, I
Anytime.
welcome you to the AIWF. I apologize
you,
for
sir.
idiots like Kevin Stryker and stuff that you're going to have to deal with that on a frequent basis when you see his bald-headed face. So welcome to the AIWF.
I appreciate that, and thank you, and I am welcome to the AIWF. And might I say, I appreciate the dozen roses you sent to my mother over the weekend. She said she loved them and told me to personally thank you when I had a chance today. And thank
Yes,
you, and
sir.
God bless you. You are a true gentleman and a scholar. Thank you.
You tell her she's more than welcome.
Oh, mercy. All right. So,
As the
already
old
seeing
saying
alliance
goes,
being formed
yes,
here,
it's getting
fans.
deep.
What was that, Kevin? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said, as the old saying goes, the S is getting deep up in here.
Well, we're seeing an alliance being formed, fans, and Joey Nugs is definitely going to be a big part of the AIWF Mid-Atlantic going forward. Like I said, next Saturday night, we're going to honor our heroes a week after Veterans Day. But I just came up with a cliche that I want to try out on you guys since I've been here. If you want to describe a chaotic situation, would it be okay to say, man, that was wild? It looked like Golden Corral on Veterans Day.
Hey, that's
I
where I
like
was
it.
at on Veterans Day.
I know, because they let veterans eat for free. And so, it's quite chaotic. Nobody laughed. So I don't know. That joke might be a little too deep. And
Well, you know what they call Golden Corral, don't you, Matt?
No, I don't.
They call it instant diarrhea, instant enema.
Well, there goes our chances of ever being sponsored by Golden Corral.
For the record, I like Golden Corral.
I love
That all-you-can-eat steak on a buffet is right up my alley. I just won't mess with that chocolate fountain. Too many kids just stick things in there. That's nasty.
Yeah. The chocolate fountain is a little
Leave the chocolate
sketchy.
fountain alone. It's not sanitary.
Yeah, but I will say, I'm with you with the steaks and the glazed ham at night. But if you just go there for lunch, you can't beat the meatloaf. It's just don't have too much of it.
The yeast rolls are the best.
Ooh, man, I got to agree with you on that one there. Jeez, we actually agree on something. The yeast rolls.
The yeast rolls are
Hey,
golden.
I mean,
I'll agree with you on that one.
I'll be a man, Joey. I will extend my welcome back to you, back to the AIWF Mid-Atlantic area. I'll be nice enough and respectful enough to do that, just because you wish me a happy Veterans Day. But I will say this, just don't cross my lines.
Yeah, because he'll come out of retirement again.
He'd have to have that guy come out of retirement. He might hurt himself and he'll sue all AIWF and me too. Diamond Dave, if he comes out of retirement, I'm going to be at ringside for that.
Flat on his back every time.
He comes out of retirement about 6 times a year.
Well, Joe, you don't have to worry about crossing Kevin's line, because it ain't a straight line. It's always crooked. You just got to find out where you can cross it at.
That's because I'm about half drunk.
You ran out of money, did you?
Ooh, this is good. This is good chaos right here. This
And just so you know, I ordered an AIWF flag and it's going to hang right there. That's the NWA flag. I know we're not supposed to talk about the competition, but I got a new flag on my hang right there. That's why it's blackened out for the TV show.
I don't care. We'll talk about other wrestling federations when we have time. It's been suggested to me that we need to talk about TV wrestling sometime. I just honestly, we generally either don't have time for it because we're putting over our stuff. I have not watched Raw and SmackDown in months because just what I see kind of bores me.
Yeah.
I do like their WWE's pay-per-views usually have some good action on that, but that's in the ring. There's nothing wrong with what's in the ring, except that they show us the same matches week after week after week after week on TV, and I'm just bored with it. The other one, AEW, is kind of schizophrenic. They'll have something on that's great, and then they'll have something on that's not so great. And I know they're just trying to find their footing, and Tony Khan is doing the work of 10 men. So I get it, but I think bringing CM Punk in was the absolutely right thing to do. And they have a big pay-per-view this weekend. I hope they do very well. I was a huge fan of the NWA after Billy Corgan restarted it, but then they took their show after the pandemic and moved it on to Fight, and you have to pay a fee to see it. Yeah. And I was perfectly cool with watching the show on YouTube and then buying the pay-per-views, and watching the pay-per-views, because the pay-per-views are very affordable, but now you have to pay to watch everything. And that kind of just takes my interest away. It's like, nah, dude, I know you guys filmed 2 months worth of TV in 2 days, and they ran St. Louis, but there's no word if they're ever going to come back to the Charlotte area. I saw that show they did with Ring of Honor, the Crockett Cup at Cabarrus Arena a few years ago. Everybody had a great time that night. So I'm all about talking about the other wrestling federations. It's just for the most part, we just don't get around to it.
Well, I mean, like yourself, I haven't watched any of the TV wrestling in probably years, just for the simple fact that you really don't see that good storytelling anymore. They just throw people in a match. They try to run a story off of it. Then it's like it goes all off, whatever. It goes out in the left field. And there's just not that good rivalry and not that good storytelling portion to it anymore. And it just absolutely bores me to death.
Yeah, I agree.
Kevin Stryker actually said something that I got to agree with, other than about the East Bros. I agree with him on that. But, they're getting rid of all their top-tier talents. And they're making jokes out of their top-tier talent. Perfect example, Seth Rollins. The athlete he is. They got him acting like an idiot. Yeah, that idiot's making millions. But it's all a comical. They're trying to be funny. They're trying to go from their roots and be something they're not. And it is just absolutely, in my eyes, I tell Vince, if he was sitting right here in front of me, it is a terrible product.
Look at what they done with Bray Wyatt. The whole Wyatt family, when they first come into play, that was an awesome trio of guys there. Even when Braun Strowman was in it, it was an awesome foursome. But now they turned Bray Wyatt into some storytelling Barney-like figure or whatever.
He's gone.
Yeah, and now he's gone.
And I think that's a shame. That's a shame, because that guy, he's Mike Rotunda's son. Second or third generation wrestler.
Third, I believe.
Yeah, just that, like dumb on a duck. The whole thing, I shouldn't get started on this. We're running out of time, but I will just say this. When they did that angle several years ago where Daniel Bryan joined up with the Wyatt family, that was like, oh my God, it was so cool. But they only kept it going for like a week. And then he turned on them. And I was just like, oh, and I thought it was all downhill for the Wyatt family after that, honestly. But
even the whole Randy Orton storyline that they had running with the Wyatt family.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good one.
Yeah, but you could see how that was coming. But anyway, so yeah, I don't want to just dump on TV wrestling. I don't watch it as much as I used to. We don't talk about it now. I'll sit here and pull up the cock here after we get off the air and watch some old Mid-Atlantic or something like that, you know, or go on YouTube and watch some of Ron Fuller's old stuff, because a lot of that stuff's new to me because I've never seen it before. I was too little when it was on originally.
Now, Matt, don't be pulling too many cocks.
You don't listen to wrestling podcasts, do you? If you listen to any Conrad Thompson's podcast, you know the pull out the cock joke. But anyway, but Joey Nuggs, again, thank you so much. We're out of time. We're actually overtime. But thank you again for joining us. Would you be interested in coming on this panel more frequently? We'd love to have you.
Yeah, I'll see you next week.
All right, awesome. So everybody, look, get out. Look, we talk about it, supporting indie wrestling. Remember, you know, it's not Smiling Diamond Dave was talking about Seth Rollins. You know, yes, he makes a ton of money, but a lot of the money that people like Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes and some of your other favorite wrestlers make on big time TV wrestling is from those TV deals. Indie wrestling is still audience based, live attendance. So get out. Even, you know, we want you to come to AIWF affiliate shows, of course. But if there's a local indie promotion in your area and they're running this weekend, get out and support them. You know, your additional $6 to $8 for admission makes a big difference. When you buy a T-shirt from an indie wrestler, it makes a big difference. You know, so when you get out and support indie wrestling, it's just like if you're a race fan, like going to Bowman Gray or Hickory, it's the same thing. It's grassroots. This is where people break into the business before they ever make it to the TV big time. Did you know that Adam Page came through AIWF Mid-Atlantic many years ago?
Yes.
You know, he's main event the pay-per-view this weekend. So,
did you know that Cedric Alexander come through the AIWF? Right there at Veterans Park, him and Rick Diesel had a wet T-shirt contest against each other right there at Veterans Park.
That sounds disgusting, but
Oh, it was. But the point is, Cedric started in places like the AIWF.
Yeah.
And yes, he worked his butt off to get to where he's at. But a lot of these people has forgot where they came from.
Yeah.
So, you know, you see the things on there, you know, the indie scene is definitely still audience supportive. So wherever you are in this great country or around the world, if you've got an indie promotion in your area, get out and support them. It makes a big difference. So we're over time.
One more tidbit if I got time.
Yep.
While we're throwing out names, let's not forget Lance Bravado.
That's right. What do they call him now? He's in NXT now.
Yeah, I can't recall what they call him, but Lance and Harlan Bravado, the Bravado brothers, started with it in the AIWF, getting trained and everything else like that. Now Harlan, he's gone into the political part, but Lance is over in the NXT now.
Yep. So we certainly wish them the best. You know, Eden, North Carolina, born and bred. They'll tell you Draper, but hey, it's all the same town now. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining us. Bobby Dalton, Smiling Diamond Dave, Kevin Stryker, Joey Nuggs. Thank you for coming on the show this week. We hope to see all of you back on our panel next week. And you fans, anytime you want to join the panel, just click on that Zoom link. I try to post it on Wednesday. Sometimes I don't post it till Thursday, but keep your eye on the AIWF Mid-Atlantic Facebook page for more news as we get closer to the big show next Saturday night. And we will see you here next week. Maybe we can rustle up Casey Fox or Ella Envy to join us on the program next week and see what's on their mind. So again, wrestling fans, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week. And until next time, so long for now.
Happy Veterans Day, Dave.